Hey, welcome to Make Your Money Matter. I'm your host, Brad Barrett. I'm also a managing director and partner here at One Capital Management. Today on the show, we're going to talk about life insurance, probably one of the more morbid conversations we're going to have on our show, but something as a financial advisor, we have to talk about heavily and in depth. And I've always said this to our clients, if you do it right, you really only have to do it once. And I mean, the most important asset you own, right, if you think about it, is your ability, your health to earn an income. So protecting that is important for your family. So we're going to talk about that today on the show. But before we do, make sure to smash that subscribe button, hit the notification bell so you don't miss a single episode. All right, let's get into it. Hey, fun fact, a recent study came out and found that 1 out of 1 person dies. You get my drift here? Look, there are 2 things for certain in life that we know, right? Ben Franklin said it best, death and taxes. We talk about taxes all the time. Sadly, we need to talk about death here a little bit. And this is where life insurance comes in. Here's the thing. As an advisor, we want to make sure we protect the assets that you're growing. We talk about growth, we need to talk about protection. We talk a lot about growing these assets. We talk about investing the assets, where to hold them. Let's talk about protecting them, since you don't know if we don't know what tomorrow holds, or 5 years from now, or 50 years from now, or maybe somewhere in between. Life insurance erases, in my opinion, the uncertainties, which again, providing a source of income to your family in the event you or your spouse dies prematurely. Now, I speak with my clients here at One Capital Management about this around what I call low probability but high risk years. Listen, if you're in your 20s, 30s, 40s, or maybe even 50s, right here, the probability of you passing away is much less now than if you say you were in your 70s, 80s, or 90s. However, I would argue that in those years, the earlier years, right, it's much more risky, right? You're growing a family at this time. You have an income right now. You're paying off a mortgage or some debt. You're putting kids through school and all these things that we talk about. So covering your need and reinsuring yourself, if you think about it, matters. So we're going to talk about and break down who should look at insurance and who should not. Now, the answer of do I need insurance, the age-old question here on this topic, right, depends on who you are. So let's start with the people that I think maybe don't need a life insurance plan. Obviously, it's good to still talk with your advisor about this, but you may not need a life insurance plan if you fall into this category, okay? First and foremost, single people with no dependents, all right? That's the one you can look at. You may not have a true need for life insurance, okay? Working couples, maybe without kids, for which the premature death of, say, one partner may not impact the ability of the surviving spouse to pay the daily cost of life. That may be another one. Maybe retirees who no longer have financial obligations, things like a mortgage or college expenses or any kind of debt. And there's another thing we can talk about here. Wealthy people who already have an estate large enough to provide for a spouse's lifestyle may not need insurance, except I will say there are a lot of really advanced ways you can use insurance in that category to pass on wealth at a much more efficient manner. And then I think children, something I get this question a lot, this comes up, there's a caveat here to this one. I get this question a lot. Unless you live off the earnings of, say, a child actor, for example, kids aren't necessarily a source of income. And really, when we talk about insurance, we talk about the cost of insurance or the investment in it. We're talking about securing income, really, right? So there's generally little reason to insure their lives. However, buying insurance on a child can provide one benefit that I really love talking about. It ensures the child's insurability later in life. I've actually had this happen before in my career with kids, where there was a child who developed an illness such as diabetes, in this case that I'm talking about, and finding insurance before them was really great because it was actually harder for them to get life insurance once they became a diabetic. So maybe purchasing it earlier for them will provide them a benefit. So something you can talk about within your family or with your advisor. Now, switching gears for a second here, if you are under some of these next conditions, it's probably worth you looking at insurance, all right? So starting off right away, if you have a dependent child or anyone that depends on you, the loss, obviously, of your income could affect your spouses or whoever you're leaving the money to, their ability to remain, say, in the family home with the kids or provide the level of education you want or anything else. So you wanna make sure you look at that. Now, if you have a child and if you're married to a non-working spouse, also probably a good time to look for insurance. If you have a working spouse whose income is maybe substantially less than yours, probably a good opportunity to look at life insurance well. So, kind of in between there, for many of the same reasons as above, you should consider life insurance, basically because your higher income affords a lifestyle that your spouse or your heirs may not be able to afford. So let's say if you have a special needs, there's another category, right? A special needs siblings or children or others you support and wish to take care of further, it's a great time to look at life insurance. It's just a wrapping to protect what you're working so hard for. Lastly, you should look at insurance if you still have a large mortgage remaining on your home. I think it's we're talking about income, it's also a good debt replacement strategy. Obviously, a life insurance payout will help a spouse or anyone in that camp to, if you're going to leave it to pay off or pay down the balance, which obviously erases the financial burden after your debt. But know this, be aware on this one. In the weeks and after, maybe you might have gone through this already. If you obtained a mortgage, for example, you'll inevitably be bombarded, okay? Many of you already have, like I said, by offers of what's called mortgage insurance, which is a policy that provides the funds necessary to pay off the mortgage if you die. Just a word of wisdom here, because I've gone through this a lot with clients. Don't bite on a lot of those, all right? They're essentially term life policies, but are usually priced higher, I would say. So instead, if you want to find funds to repay a mortgage, for example, factor that into your needs with a standard policy, something you would get with an advisor or a financial professional, and make sure to seek those out. So I really wanted to touch on the life insurance conversation today. And if you're in any one of those camps that I mentioned on not needing life insurance versus needing it, take a look. Find someone you can trust. You can reach out to us. We're here to help you. We want to assist and secure that need and making sure that you provide the income necessary, right, to have those you want to leave the money to live the life that you would like for them. Hey, I hope you enjoyed that show today. If you did, give us a like and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss a single episode. And always remember to make your money matter.